Radha Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Bharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Bharadhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Srila Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Transcendental Srimad Bhagavatam distribution ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Landaneshwara ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Mam Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Vastapatali. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami. He asked me to use my phone. I don't know if you want to use that. I don't know the details, but that's what he said. Oh my God, he's one of those Hare Krishna men. 7 o'clock in the morning they're out there, I can't believe it. I got back at 9 o'clock from work and the guy was on my doorstep. He's back at 7 in the morning. There's only one way out, I have to buy it. That's the only way I'll get off my case. How much is it?
It's only $1.99.
Only £1.99. Well, you can see what he's doing here. I don't know what's the intention. How many of you have not got the Srimad Bhagavatam? How many of you have not got it? Have you got it? Got it?
Yes.
Have you got it?
Yes, Lord.
Where?
Here and in my parents' side as well.
Huh?
Here and in my parents' side.
Oh, your parents, okay, they've got it. Okay, what about your brother and sister? You got one? What about you, my young man there? Have you got one? Chinese? They got Chinese here.
Yeah.
Chinese. Got one? Not much.
Actually,
There's not much business here, boy. They all say they've got it. Now, what do you do next? Even his brother, sister, auntie, uncle, dog, cat, everyone's got it. Well, you ladies, I bet some of you guys haven't got it. Oh, no. You have it? Oh, be careful if you say no. He's ready to pounce. Anyway, you get the point. I think he's encouraging us all to spread the message of Srimad Bhagavatam everywhere. And Srimad Bhagavatam, unique amongst all scriptures in many ways. I mean, one way, for instance, most scriptures deal primarily with, dharma, kama, artha, moksha, etc., like that. But Bhagavatam doesn't. Bhagavatam is aimed specifically, dharma, pujita, kota, votra. What's happening there?
the microphone is best fit for the Bhagavatam as well.
The microphone is collapsing. You gonna handle it?
Unless someone sponsors us.
Oh, yeah, there's a bit of, what do you call it there? Yeah, Bhagavatam is not meant for the cheating religion. Of course, they have their part to play, but most religions are based upon, dharma, some kind of dharma. Artha, economics, kama, enjoying, and liberation, if that's not enough. Get out of here. And that's about it. I mean, with a vague idea that, there's some relationship there with God. It's quite vague in most cases. So Srimad Bhagavatam rejects that at least as an objective, as an ultimate artha or ultimate goal of life. It may be required, you could say, at certain stages. But Bhagavatam aims specifically at pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate solution to all problems. So we'll read from the Bhagavatam today. Was it 2-7? What number? 50? 50, that's what they told me anyway, I don't know. The page is open on a different page. But we're going to do 50, we'd like it or lump it. This is the titles of the chapter, Scheduled Incarnations. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 2, Chapter 7, text number 50. Kindly repeat. So, a little different on the board. We normally go through the word for word when we do this, and it's not always the same as what you see on the line, so I don't know what you've got up there. Ayam te abhitaha tata Bhagavan Vishvabhavanaha Samasena Harehe Na Anyat Anyasmat Sat Asat Cha Yat So Yang Te Bitas Tata Bhagavan Vishvabhavanaha Samasena Nanyat Anyasmat Sadasachayat Soyang Te Vihitas Tata Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha Samasena Hare Nanyad Anyasmat Sadasachayat Soyam Te Vihitastata Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha Samasena Hare Nanyad Anyasmat Sadasachayat. Two devotes. Soyam Te Vitastata Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha
Soyam te vietastata
Soyam Te Vitastata
Bhagavan Vishwabhavana
Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha
Samasena Hare Nanyat
Samasena Hare Nanyad
Anyasmat Sadasachayat
Anyasmat Sadasachayat. Ladies, ladies, ladies. Soyam Te Vitastata Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha Samasena Hare Nanyad Anyasmat Sadasachayat. One more, lady. Soyam Te Vitastata Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha Samasena Hare Nanyad Anyasmat Sadasachayat. Saha, that. Ayam, the same. Te, unto you. Abhihitaha, explained by me. Tata, my dear son. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Vishwabhavanaha, the creator of the manifested worlds. You have it on the screen, do you? Samasena, in brief. Harehe, without Hari the Lord. Na, never. Anyat, anything else. Anyasmat, being the cause of. Sat, manifested or phenomenal. Asat, noumenal. Cha, and. Yat, whatever there may be. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. I guess we're coming to the end of the chapter, more or less. A couple more verses, I think. Something like that. My dear son, just trying to adjust it so I can read the book. It's like right between my eyes and the book. So, my dear son, I have now explained in brief the supreme personality of Godhead, who is creator of the manifested worlds. Without him, Hari, the Lord, there are no other causes of the phenomenal and the noumenal existences. That which we can see and that which we cannot see, material, spirit, I don't know. Purport, Srila Prabhupada. Since we generally have the experience of the temporary material world and conditioned souls trying to lord it over the material worlds, Brahmaji explained to Narada that this temporary world is the work of the external potency of the Lord, and that the conditioned souls struggling here for existence are the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. There is no cause for all these phenomenal activities but Him, Hari, the Supreme Lord, who is the primeval cause of all causes. Pretty deep subject, isn't it? I mean, broad, deep, mystifying sometimes. There is, we look at it very, very carefully. Temporary word. Struggling. There is no cause, no cause at all for all of these phenomenal activities but Him, Hari, the Supreme Lord, who is the primeval cause of all causes. It's a very difficult to measure statement in some ways. It seems to indicate that the jiva, the conditioned soul, has no causal factor. There's nothing causal about their, say, part in the whole situation. We'll come on to that later. This does not mean, however, that the Lord Himself is distributed impersonally. He is aloof from all these interactions of the external and marginal potencies. He's aloof from it. There's a very famous stanza in Srila Prabhupada's poem, Markandeya Bhagavat Dharma, where Prabhupada describes, in that poem of Boston, that by your will all the living entities have come under the influence of the external energy, and by your will they can be released. Without a little bit of a deeper perspective, you could say that it sounds like we're just like pawns or chess pieces or something. That the Lord is just like, at His whim, moving us around, and if He wants to, He throws us here and picks us there. But it's actually everything that exists, as mentioned here, is nothing but the Supreme Lord. At the same time, Prabhupada quotes here from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What's that word? Maya Dam. Look it up, 9.4. Look it up on your database. You made up? Old memory forgetting. Very good. And you know what it means?
Many things. By me and my manifested form, this entire universe is created. All beings are me, but I'm not a being.
Yeah. So everything is a manifestation. And of course, from the material, from the, let's say, the negative point of view, the rejection point of view, they therefore deny the existence of an actual personality due to misidentifying the personality as being some kind of conditioned entity. Krishna is not conditioned, he's above it. And everything is emanate, but he's himself not implicated by this world, neither is he, let's say, what's the word mentioned here? It's not that he's kind of like lost his personality, he's like spread out everywhere. It's become kind of like many splintered. He's not like that either. He maintains his specific individual personality, yet through his various his energies, internal, external, everything is manifesting. He expands himself in so many different ways, as we've heard in this chapter, different forms of avatars and so on, expansions of Godhead, personal forms. He has his impersonal expansion and energetic expansion too in various ways. But everything comes from him. Either a personal expansion or an energetic expansion, but everything comes from Krishna. Nothing is independent of Krishna. Nothing. Neither the material world, neither the jiva, neither the Brahman, neither anybody and everything, all the eternal associates of the Lord, everything, of course, from our perspective, is a little, you could say, almost inconceivable. But it's a little kind of like difficult for us to measure or to sort of put this together. But everything is existing in the Lord. Everything comes from the Lord. Yet he has his own personal nature. Interacting, relating with every single expansion of every kind. But everything, and ultimately everything is meant to be bringing pleasure to Krishna. That's what the whole point is. Now we may question that why. You could go on and on and on. You become a Buddhist or something. But you can go on and on and on like that. But it is. Everything is meant for pleasure. Our experience in this world is like trying to enjoy a reflection of the sun or something like that. It's some reflection of that internal Ladini Shakti, the internal pulses. And the material world is related to that. Of course, everything in this material world has its origin on the spiritual plane, and ultimately in Krishna. Cannot exist unless that quality is in Krishna. In the material world, is, you could say, it's perverted. It's not necessarily the same quality, but it has its origins there. It's just been reflected through Krishna's external energy and comes out in various ways. Good or bad as we discriminate accordingly. But Krishna's aloof from all that. He is reciprocating. Now, the Tatastha Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, has its own individual aspect of Krishna's nature, a minute degree of free will, a little Ishvara Bhava, little tiny free will there, to relate to Krishna's energies in various ways, or to Krishna himself. Right now we're relating to his external energies in various ways. We're seeing ourselves in the center, as the doer, the enjoyer, the seer, and so on and so forth. Krishna allows this just like a parent allows his kid to have a little independence. The child thinks it's independent. This is my house, my home, my room, my this, my that. Playing around with its toys. The toys are provided by the parents, and the parents, if they want, they can take the toys away. It's not within the scope or the power of the child to do anything much about it. The child may very much want, those who've had children will very much know, how children, when they get something into their heads, what do you want? There's somebody there, I want, give me this, give me that, come here, listen to me, buy this, buy that. The whole world is like that, and people are surrounded by energy that's telling us, come here, do this, do that, eat this, eat that. And living entity thinks they're independent, but they're not, as the material energy is basically, they have no choice outside of what their connection with the material energy is. We can't, we may have some dream, we've heard of something we dream, but we can't get it unless it's provided by the material energy in one form or another. It's like a child can't, I want an ice cream! Right? I'm sure we've all been through that. Still going through it by the looks of it. I want an ice cream. Please give me an ice cream. No. Give me an ice cream. You can't have it now. It's going to be dinner time in 10 minutes. I want an ice cream now. You have to wait. Plate of dinner comes on, the kid knocks the plate off the table. You throw a tantrum. We don't get what we want. And we can't get it unless the parents provide it. So the material is like that. Krishna's, in that poem of Prabhupada, in other words, we may desire, or whatever your philosophy is, we may desire that we don't want to serve Krishna. But it's pretty hard getting away. It's misery, it's hell on hell in, it's not heaven, hell in the spiritual world, to be there if you don't want to serve Krishna. Just, we can all experience that, you know, when you feel yourself completely out of place. I want to get out of here. They all speak a different language. They drive on a different side of the road. You know, they eat different things. They got different sense of humor. You know, Everything's different. I don't like this place. I got to get out of here. You can't go. So Krishna provides that opportunity in the form of his external energies, this phenomenal world, where we can forget him completely. He covers us in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, I am also the cause of forgetfulness. He covers the jiva because we want to forget Krishna. We want to see ourselves in the center. Yeah. So Krishna provides that facility. We don't know it. We're like kids who can't understand the origin of what we've got. We try to rationalize that we are the origin, or there's no origin, or something or another. I created it, I got it, I did it, and so on. Not really. Well, it's just a lack of knowledge, poor fund of knowledge. And we don't, or it's envy, you could say, of the creator. That there's a creator behind everything. Every single thing that exists is the Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. And everything. When we realize that, then the whole picture takes a different perspective. And now I'm going to kind of follow on a little bit from what we were discussing at the Manor a few days ago. And I don't know, some of you may have been there or not, I don't know. It's a really important thing for us to change. It's not about changing the world. It's not about, changing our bodies or anything, or, oh, it's my karma. This is all dreamlike stuff. It's about waking up. Waking up. Waking up means no longer, in terms of this subject, no longer seeing ourselves in the center. And learning is a process of learning. It's a process of revelation, but it's also a process of learning. Learning how to awaken. Learning how to see Krishna in the center. Bhakti Yoga is wholly and solely based on that principle. And there are many aspects, and according to the level of consciousness of the conditioned soul, many levels, we could say, of emphasis. Just like we heard about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, there's a place for that for persons who are very materially entrenched, or for those who are showing Yadada Chariti Shrishta Tattadivita Rojanha, the way for conditioned souls to gradually become freed from this dreamlike illusion which we're in, of seeing ourselves in the center and not really understanding the position of God in the center, or Krishna in the center. There's some sentiment, which is a good start, of God, but we see God mostly as our provider. And when he doesn't provide, we can lose our faith. The faith is very self-centered and shallow, based upon my conditioned, illusory idea of what will bring me pleasure, who I am, and who's God, and so on and so forth. So therefore, it's a very fallible situation. And unless you get Artha, then what's the use of Dharma? No use. Because without Artha, how can you get Kama? It's kind of like it's natural. We're in a prison house in this material world, basically speaking. So Krishna provides this because we want to forget it. We want to enjoy separately. So we can't have it on our own. And we can't get out of it on our own either. So the Lord appears in various ways as incarnations. We could read so many things. We could read the history of the Bhagavatam in terms of how the sages in Naimishranya requested this of Sutta Goswami, how Sukadeva Goswami spoke it to Parikshit Maharaj, and so many other aspects we could take of discussing the avatars, the incarnation, why they take various forms, various reasons. We're not going there today. You can read that earlier in this chapter, or in the third chapter of the first canto, how one can see Krishna in the Bhagavatam. There's a process of seeing Krishna, seeing him in the Bhagavatam. And oftentimes people have this challenge. Have you seen God? Have you seen God? Have you seen Him? There are many ways of seeing God. But that's a topic where, if we have time, we'll mention it a little bit more later on. Can you show me God? That's another one. Where is He? That was a famous parampara from Hiranyakashipu. Show me God. Where is He? This is the nature of a challenging personality. So anyway, with no further ado, I'm going to go forward a little bit. We haven't got time to fill in the middle very much. To how we can see God. How we can, not how I can, how you can, how anyone can. Again, to get out of this world is not within our grasp. The Lord is holding His hand out in the form of Guru Shastra and Sadhu. We have to take that hand and hold it tightly and don't let go. We don't want to pull them into our world. We often think that the Guru is there to satisfy my material desires, or the Shastras are for that reason. The Sadhus should pat me on the head and say, well done. We often try to pull them into our world of nonsense, mundanity, sensuality, duality, and so on. But that's not the intention. So the Lord has given us that chance, but if we don't take it, of course, and even if we take it, it depends on His mercy, not within our power. But if we follow His, let's say, His lead, follow Him. Follow the Guru, follow the spiritual master, follow the Shastra, follow the Sadhu. This is the path of, let's say, waking up or becoming freed of this illusion that we're in. Freed of our conditioning. Get out of the material world, enter the spiritual world. It's reciprocal. Krishna's reciprocating accordingly. And depending on how we reciprocate with Krishna's offer, He reciprocates accordingly. He may throw us into deeper darkness, give us the Brahman liberation if we're on that path, send us to heaven if we're really into material goodness, sense gratification, the mode of goodness, or keep us where we are, put us in animal body, bird, or whatever else it may be. It's not within our power. We may desire, which is taken into account, but the Lord gives what we deserve. And not only that, but He's giving what is needed. Just like with a child, you may sometimes have to admonish the child, restrict the child, encourage the child. Krishna's always thinking of the ultimate welfare of His parts and parcels, of the conditioned souls. I really must get on it, but the real essence of this, I mustn't miss it. Continuing from the other day, a little bit. It's one of my favorite, perhaps my favorite article. Difficult with a table like this. I will try. Let's see, where are we here? Many of you have probably come across this book called Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. Any of you have heard of it? Perhaps some of you have read it. Many things we like to mention, but we're going to have to skip over these wonderful things which Srila Prabhupada has expanded on in this regards, but I'll just go straight to Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. And there's one famous, it's not only there, you can find it elsewhere, but there's one famous article, maybe a lecture, I don't know, but it's come out in the form of an article by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. And I'll say, well, first of all, give a one-line introduction. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj talking about this subject. I'll tell you what the subject is after. what he says, whatever I have to say, my whole message is based on proper comprehension of this truth. There are many different tattvas and truths of the various of the Lord and his energies and so on. But he said, this is the key. Everything is contained in this one. And it's very simple. It's called drashta and drishya. Drashta and drishya vichar. The proper understanding of drashta and drishya. Everything becomes clear. All problems are solved on every level. It's a one-stop solution to everything, you could say. And unless we get that right, there's no solution. So basically in English it means, drashta means the seer, and drishya means the seen, that which is seen. Now in general we have it the wrong way round. The material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, where we see ourselves as the seer, the enjoyer. We measure everything in regards to our own experience, so-called experience, distance-wise, emotionally-wise, taste-wise, pretty everything, you could say. How far away is Mars? How far away is Mars? Come on, tell me. I want to know. Far away from what? Where, when, how, what? Where? This side of the universe, that side of the universe, Mars itself, this Earth planet? What do you want to know? We're localized. We tend to localize everything. The disease of a conditioned soul. Seeing ourselves, our nation, our religion, our race, our gender, our age, everything in the center. Down to details. Everything's based on that principle of seeing ourselves as a center, and that which, the energies of God, we see it as that which I'm seeing. And unless I can see it, then either it doesn't exist, I don't believe it at least. Seeing is believing, they say, but this is the big fallacy or illusion that the world is in. We cannot see what we have, what we're seeing, what are we seeing? And what is our means of seeing? It's all provided by Krishna. It's his energies. It's not ours. You can go blind on the spot. Deaf on the spot. It's not within our power. We're not the real seer. And we're like a child thinks that they're doing this, that, and the other. Owning this. We're not the real seer. Self-realized soul is seeing things. When we say seer, we can analyze that in different ways, but seeing things for what they really are. Pure devotee of the Lord sees things for what they really are. So let's move on. Drashta, don't forget, is the seer. Drishya is the seen. The tendency of a bogey, you know what a bogey is? It's one of these things you get out your nose, isn't it? The tendency of a bogey is that they consider themselves the drashta. So if you think you're the seer, you're a bogey. Okay, you go around, hey Prabhu, you're a bogey. If anyone puts themselves in the center when you ask them for service, just say, Prabhu, you're a bogey. That won't be a very good policy, by the way. But in one sense, we should see ourselves, in a sense, to be a little bit bogey. What is a bogey? What is a bogey? It's something you ride on? No, that's a buggy. What's a bogey? Huh? An enjoyer. One who tries to enjoy it. Boga. Unoffered food. Food. Chocolate. No. Who'd you offer it to? Good question. Bogey. One who wants to enjoy their senses. Tends to see themselves. Everything's judged like that. What service we do, who we hang out with. There's another side to that, but this is one side of it. What we like to eat. Everything's judged on how I feel. Modern society is wholly and solely based on that, more or less. Religion has to adjust to that concept, more or less adjusting. Just how we feel, what our modern philosophy is, our new modern paradigms, which are changed. I mean, God, have they changed in my life so much. Paradigms about everything practically, which were totally different when I was young. And now we're holding sternly fast to and killing each other over these modern paradigms, just like kids with poor fund of knowledge. And the basic thing is this illusion of seeing ourselves in the center as the enjoyer. In total lack of self-realization. There's a process of transformation which may take a long time the more we hold on to our, whatever, our false egotistical ways. It takes a long time. Why is this always happening to me? It's not happening to you. You're witnessing something going on because we're still attached to being the controller and the manipulator of things. And therefore frustration sometimes is there to help release us from this illusion. So the tendency, actually we're not, God is not the object of our darshan. We come in Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Has to be understood very deeply. It's not just a surface thing. God, show me. Where are you? Jagannath, show yourself to me. I'm here. Can't you see me? Yes, I can see you. Well, then show me. I want to see you. Tendency of our limited understandings. If we have time, we'll come on to a little more detail on that one. But this is a tendency. We come, I'm going to the temple to take darshan. I saw the gods. I saw them. They spoke to me. They told me I'm God. Oftentimes, we have this thing even in the temple. I want to be in the front. Why are the men in the front? I want to be in the front. Get the men out of the way. Give me the ladies sometimes say. Okay, we'll stand at the back, front. Okay, now what do you see? You see any better? I don't know. You have to ask yourself what you see. Personally, it makes no difference to me, but I'm blind fool. I know what we can see. I see a very beautiful thing. Maybe what we see is a reflection. It's a reflection on our consciousness, which is very purifying. But that's perhaps a very justifiable answer. But that's not all there is to it. Let's read on. We want Goloka Darshan. We don't want this kind of, let's say, relative darshan. By Goloka Darshan, Krishna is perceived as the center of existence. And everything in this world has paraphernalia for serving him. The only possible means to achieve such darshan, Goloka Darshan, where we actually see, we don't just sort of theoretically impose it, which is a start, but that's not, it's a realization. It's a reality. And the whole, that's what we're here for, and why we follow principles, why we do things the way we do. We may not understand why I do it this way, and we challenge it because we're still puffed up and, want to do it my way. I did it my way. Who's that? Huh? Frank Sinatra. He did it his way. Best of luck. Well, we have this tendency. We want to do it Krishna's way. Change. That's why we have rules and regulations, numbers, this, that, the other. You could say they're impositions, and then stage Vaidhi Bhakti, yes, it's a form of imposition, but it's a God-given imposition. It's not a man-made one. Man-made ones just entangle us further in the material world. Man-made rules, adjustments, etc., just implicate us further in illusion. So God is trying to release us from this illusion so we can actually see things for what they are. As a soul has similar qualities to God, we do have that quality of drashta, but at the moment it's completely pervertedly reflected. Purify our hearts. process. Deity worship is so important. So yes, to have that vision, that picture on our hearts, even though it may not be Goloka Darshan exactly, is nonetheless a most purifying effect on a mirror of our minds, which is what we're seeing, so-called seeing, at least. That purifies our, awakens, opens our eyes. Om is the whole meaning of this stanza. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya. The spiritual master is opening our eyes, which are blinded with the darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of knowledge. The only possible means to achieve such darshan is by developing a service attitude, which itself is tantamount to seeing God. These are the words of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. This is how we get darshan of the Lord, through service. A service attitude, not just begrudgingly doing something or blindly doing something. Kind of better than nothing, but that's not the attitude which will give us the Lord's darshan. Will enable us to actually see him in the real sense of the term. He is attracted by pure devotion, unalloyed, pure devotion. It takes time, faith, to develop in the association of those who have it. It can gradually awaken. And everything takes on it, and then one realizes that so many simple little realizations. There's no one in the universe to blame for my situation. Nobody. That's a very simple realization. That's like primary kindergarten realization, in one sense. Basic. As long as we're in this mood of considering other conditioned souls the cause of my distress and my happiness, then we have to stay in this universe. It's a very simple, it's not even a transcendental realization, it's just a basic thing that we have to understand, that we are responsible for our situation. Others are, in one sense, have their own issues, same as we do, and they're simply instrumental in our journey, in that sense. It is a common error to deem the sense of sight the actual seer. We take these eyes as being all in all. I've seen it. I've seen God. Bhaktisiddhanta said, are you also seeing Maya? If you are seeing Maya, then you're no way you're seeing God. In other words, if we're still attracted to this material energy, there's no way we can see God. We can hear about him to some extent. In different ways, of course. We remember his presence in so many ways, from the Gita, Bhagavatam, and from the deity worship. Of course, even that, if we don't follow the system given by those who actually are having the darshan of the Lord, or the Lord's giving them his darshan, the Lord won't give us his darshan either, even though we may have some idea. It's not a one-way thing. Lord reciprocating to our attitude. Whatever we can measure by any of our senses, we also call a seeable object, and he who senses it is called the seer. But I am not the seer, but rather am seen by Krishna. I am not the enjoyer, but the object of enjoyment for Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, other places. Anything you can measure is called Maya. Whatever you can think you can measure, or do seem to be measured, is a philosophy is measure everything. Everything is measurable. Define it, and that which is not measurable, try to measure it. This is the illusory world that we're in. Want to control everything, but that's not the mood of devotion. Krishna doesn't come into the category or into the realm of our measurement. He's immeasurable. Even the soul is immeasurable. What to speak of Krishna? We want to measure everything, or contain, control, reduce, whatever it is. Where does it all come from? Trying to understand where the universe is coming from. The more we try, the further we get away from it. But I am not the enjoyer, but the object of enjoyment for Krishna. That's a pretty intense, putting that in our lives, as our sole purpose. I am here to bring pleasure to Krishna. Very simple. But that's what we exist for. That's why Krishna's expanded. Nadini Shakti is not a competitor, but it's to facilitate the desire of the Lord. And we also can be a part of that, or we can be part of the external. That's the nature of the Tatastha, can be one or the other. Krishna gives us that choice. So we're not getting onto one aspect of this. It's a very strong affront against Mayavad philosophy, this whole essay, but we get into a little bit more the practical side from our point of view. A pure devotee has no way of sensing pleasure except by seeing that Krishna is satisfied in every respect. That's the pure devotee's measure of pleasure, is to see. Now, if you had any quite deep, intensive, loving relationships with a child or with a lover, you'll have a little glimpse of this. That your pleasure is your beloved's pleasure. Is not absolute, but it's somewhat, somewhat there at least. Or with a child, even more so the mother, her pleasure is to see her child pleased. It has limitations both by time and circumstances, because if the child doesn't ultimately do what the mother wants and does something the mother doesn't want, then, although the child is doing what the child wants, the mother is no longer pleased. She becomes sometimes very angry when the child becomes a Hare Krishna devotee, for instance. Well, mother, you said you were happy if you see me happy and you want me to do what I like to do. But now you're saying you're very angry and you're not happy because I'm doing what I want to do. So it's a limited relationship. It's very relative. It's mixed. And time, of course, is also there. Of course, a very famous phrase of Srila Prabhupada from Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. Don't try to see God, but act in a way that God will see you. Very famous, huh? Oh, it's too much to read, too much nectar here. Anyway, we'll go for it as best we can. I know you're all going to eagerly awaiting now, being the drashtas, the enjoyers and the seers. Prasadam is waiting. Now, I'll just mention, we won't get there, no way. But one of the later things I could have read is one very erudite gentleman and an associate. No, was he an associate of Bhakti? No, he wasn't. But he was a very erudite personality and very learned and very well-to-do. Came to the Gaudiya Mutt and was he was very much like Prasadam. That's nice, huh? Loved Prasadam. And he came, and one of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's senior disciples, he was noting him, watching him, he said to him, asked him a question, are you eating Prasadam, or is Prasadam eating you? Now that sounds a bit simplistic, but it's not at all what we usually think it means. We might think we're being consumed by a lusty urge to eat as much as we can at every opportunity we can without doing any service or giving any money, which is a very common affair. But that wasn't it. Exactly. He didn't understand. He got quite upset. The man got quite upset. He said, what do you think I am? My wife is the best of cooks. She cooks for me. I don't come here to eat. I can eat at home. My wife is a first-class cook. And he was very sort of showing himself off, which was proving the point of the devotee. He's seeing himself as the doer, as the enjoyer of Krishna's energies. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was quite impressed by his disciple's statement. He tried to explain it. The man was a little hard to compass, but as long as we think we're the enjoyer of the energies of God in any way whatsoever, or the controllers of them, then we're in that first category of bogey, trying to eat prasadam. Being eaten by prasadam, on the other side, at least in the case of this analogy, is that we're actually fully understanding and honoring this as absolute mercy of the Lord. We're accepting his mercy with the right attitude and not with the enjoying attitude. It's a little higher level of realization. So. But anyway, it's prasadam. Hare Krishna. In a lecture on November the 10th, 1936, in Puri, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati emphasized the type of faith required to approach the Supreme Lord. So it's a common thing, not amongst the devotees, I hope, but a common thing is, I see the statue. This kind of thinking is in the spirit of enjoyment. I see the statue. The deities, no. This kind of thinking is in the spirit of enjoyment, whereas the deity actually sees me. Think about this. He sees me, my uncovered pure self. This is deity darshan. When the deity sees us, of course he sees us, but he's seeing our pure uncovered self. Yes, he is. But of course, unfortunately, we have a lot of coverings. And Krishna can do anything he likes. So as long as those coverings are there, of course, we can't see him for what he is. If in the same way that I see a movie, drama, or gymnastic display, or hear a song, I think I can see the deity with my eyes and fathom him by my intelligence. Such an attempt will be on the material platform. One will derive no benefit from such inclinations, which are not meant for satisfying the Lord's senses. So that can apply for everything. It's not just we are in the presence of the deity, but in everything we do, think, say, etc. It's I don't know, I've forgotten the English word, but it's a means of checking ourselves to think, is this pleasing to Krishna? Now, how do we know if it's pleasing to Krishna? That's an interesting challenge. That's why we have Guru Shastra Sadhu. That's why it's essential to have a guru. Otherwise we don't know. You can't ascertain it by votes, or by public opinion, or about how I temporarily feel about it. It's not judged by that, by these external means. If one has faith in the Lord entails not having faith in mundane enjoyment or renunciation. If one has faith in this world, then that is bhoga, enjoyment. The objects of the world are for my enjoyment, we think. Such a mentality is due to not having initiation and spiritual knowledge. Some different reasons may be there why someone doesn't take initiation, and one surely has to understand what it really means to take. It's not just a ceremony with a name and, putting up a bajai and blah, 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 or whatever it is. My guru is the best. Look at the way he dances. No one dances like him, my God. Well, put the clock forward 30 years, you probably won't be seeing him dance in a wheelchair or something. Or, he knows so many stories. He's got a lot of disciples. He must be the best. It's about initiation means change of heart. Change of heart. That's the real meaning, in one sense, or at least the beginning of that. Difficulties occur, listen to this one, difficulties occur when one thinks that he who is to be served should serve oneself. If we think others are meant to serve me, that is the cause of difficulty. It's not our nature to be served. We may desire it, it will happen automatically, but it's not our nature. Our nature is to serve. Gopi Bharta Pada Kamalam, Dasa 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 Das. When we realize that, then things start moving. Here's a nice one. Okay, because we're talking about Lord Jagannath just now. Hiding, I don't know where it's coming from. I've just taken a few parts of this this long article. So it's kind of coming in the middle here, so I can't exactly say what it's referring to, but anyway, the point is still the same. Hiding this inner intention, a person says, Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavat. O Lord of the universe, kindly be visible to me. And other such delirious karma kandiya words. This is not bhakti. I went and saw the holy place. I went and saw the tree. I went and saw Jagannath. I went and saw the sadhu. Bestowing on them a degree, I have dismissed them and come here. All of this is a matter of enjoyment and cannot at all be called service. If the consideration of who am I has not entered the heart, and if some bandagyan concerning my eternal object of worship never arises, then how will Shraddha and Sharanagati develop? It means faith and surrender. Srila Saraswati Thakur demonstrated Drishya Vichara when at Sri Chaitanya Mat he was once standing at the doorway of the inner sanctum, looking toward the deities of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari. Since Srila Saraswati Thakur was not wearing his spectacles, an accompanying disciple suggested that perhaps he was unable to properly see the deities. Srila Saraswati Thakur smiled and said, "We should not think of the Supreme Lord as an object of my vision. Instead, we should meditate on how we can acquire some qualification to become worthy objects of his vision." This is our meditation. Not how I can see him, but how I can become or acquire some qualification to become a worthy object of his vision. And that's not just, putting on your Sunday best and having your tilak, perfectly designed, and the latest fashion of sika, the fanciest of saris that you can get, grooming everything nicely. You may do that also. But that's not the real thing, it's the heart. He sees our heart. He sees our inner intentions. We should consider it whether he wants to see us and reveal himself to us. We don't want to, reveal ourselves to someone we don't really have a relationship or trust or don't like or something. We don't want to do that. Don't cast your pearls, as they say, before swine. Following the example of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took darshan of Jagannath Puri from a distance. From a distance, from behind the Garuda Stamba, at the entrance to the temple. He explained, "We will stand behind our Guru, Garuda. Jagannath will look at Garuda because Garuda is his devotee. Then he will also cast his merciful glance upon us." Nice, so you stay behind the Guru. After once taking darshan in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati expounded, Jagannath is not drishya, but drashta. He's the seer. Only when a jiva is wholly free from the conception of himself being drashta, and when he is fully situated in the understanding of himself as drishya of Jagannath, and to be enjoyed by him, then only can the jiva remain sevamukha, it's a liberated stage, and with eyes of love actually have darshan of Jagannath. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Only when the heart is tinged, but not tinged, saturated with the salve of love. As long as we think, I shall see Jagannath, then we shall not see him. But only wood, stone, an object described in Buddhist literature, or an antique handless statue that is an object of our enjoyment. Eyes of flesh can never chalk out the Satchinandana Vigraha. Only persons who realize themselves as Drishya, whose eyes see by hearing from Shastra or by chanting the holy names, may have darshan of the Satchit Ananda reality. Hearing. When a devotee requested Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, "Be merciful to me, I want to see Bhagavan in this life." We're in Bengal here, so many times they come up and say this. He was reproved. "Will you see Bhagavan, or will Bhagavan see you? For your own satisfaction, you want to see Bhagavan." This is not the correct attitude. Thus again insinuating that simply an impression on the retina is not sufficient for seeing the Supreme Lord. To actually see him, one must serve the Guru and be awarded divine vision. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati insisted, the path to see God is by service-inclined subservience to the Guru, who is a transparent representative of the Parampara, and by waiting for and expecting the mercy of Krishna. Patience. Well, another one, I won't read it because there's no time, but one time when Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he gave Gayatri mantra to some disciples, and he overheard them afterwards discussing the Kama Gayatri, of how they could, we maybe will be able to, shower flowers on the Lord, When he heard that, he chastised them basically. You think you're qualified to do that? I have been waiting for crores of lifetimes for this opportunity and I've still not got it. It's not a cheap thing. Because he's teaching us by example, you could say. Srila Saraswati Thakur emphasized that hearing from devotees is more important than independently reading Shastra or attempting to see the Lord directly. He would cite Shutekshitapataha, the process of seeing by hearing, and explain vision of Krishna can be attained only through the media of the ear, by hearing Harikatha from pure Vaishnavas. Pursuant to this point, he once explained that without lacerating, what's that, cutting to pieces, isn't it? Lacerate something, you thresh it to pieces. Without lacerating Akudarshan. This is a heavy one. You know what Akudarshan is? What's Akudarshan? Anyone know? False or wrong philosophies. The wrong understandings. Without cutting that to pieces, by Sudarshan, the correct philosophy, no one can attain Bhagavat Darshan, or Bhagavan. We have to dismiss these false darshans. That means false philosophies too. Oh Shastri. Oh, this is, okay. This is it. We got a few seconds. I'll just read. There's only one more page left, actually. Could we skip the first two? This is the one regarding the food. Now, this is actually, it's a little bit more graphic than what I said. Oh Shastri. So this is Ida Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's disciple speaking to this personality who likes malpuya, famous preparation in it. Malpuya is kind of like a sweet kind of, fried sweet. Consider whether you are eating malpuya or the malpuya is eating you. Once you consider one the object of vision or enjoyment for the prasadam of the Lord. The object of vision or enjoyment for the prasad of the Lord or his devotee. To think oneself the seer and enjoyer will cause one to enter deeper within the kingdom of Maya. Everything about Srila Saraswati Thakur is to be understood in terms of this drig, drishya, vichar. Without understanding this, nothing about him can be understood. That's why he was so misunderstood even by disciples, and what to speak of the general populace or other philosophers, other religionists, other Brahmins and Mayavadis, and you name it, scholars. No one could understand him because they could not, or they hadn't, refused to accept this perception. Krishna consciousness is all about perceptual change, as he said himself, that the only change that is required within this world, there's a famous statement, you've heard it before, one who thinks himself a reformer of this world is in need of reform. No one can change this world but by the breadth of a hair. Everything that happens is completely under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's working as it's meant to work. We cannot change it one breadth of a hair. The only change that is needed is a change in our perception, which is evoked by exposing ourselves to the transcendental sound vibration of the pure holy name. Changing our whole perception. This is the initiation, the change of heart, the darshan. Everything fits in there to this perceptual change of no longer seeing ourselves in the center, but seeing Krishna through the merciful media of Guru, Shastra and Sadhu in the center of everything. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So we try to hear the name. Don't just mumble off 16 rounds or something. Sounds like a dog barking almost at the master, you know. Poor Krishna, he's like spinning around, giddy. All kinds of things come out the mouth. People are conscious, I suppose, of what we're doing might help with that change of perception. So we no longer have to struggle, suffer like anything, never happy, frustrated, miserable, depressed, angry, envious, whatever else pops up now and again. As long as we put ourselves as the drashta, the seer, the measurer of things. Who are we to measure? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So now is our time to be the drashta. You get a license now to dive into the prasadam quickly before anyone else gets it. Perhaps some intelligent devotees have already gone and consumed all the breakfast. There'll be nothing left for us. Well, it's too late. But you got back late last night. Is that correct? I heard you were on Sankirtan till 11 o'clock last night. Is that right? The boss is not even here, is he? Huh? Hey, say. There's the assistant hiding there behind. Can't see. There he is. Here, trying to hide away back there. Ooh, why is he speaking like this? This is horrible. Ugh. Well, it probably is, because it's coming through me. I don't know what to do. Or my body. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you very much. Oh, you have a question here. Quick comment, okay. Oh.
Wasn't that an amazing clap?
Yes, even more amazing.
Well, before I even announce anything about the Bhagavatam, I'd like to make it clear, we were in Vrindavan, and we were having a fantastic time in Vrindavan, and we were tricked because our plane was going from Calcutta back to London, and we were just at Prabhupada's port where he was boarding the Jaladuta ship. And we were having our moments and we were praying.
Okay.
And the devotees were
catching a plane back to London.
Yeah.
And you were with the Jaladuta at the same time?
Well, we went to see the Jaladuta port before we headed to the airport.
In Calcutta?
In Calcutta.
Oh, okay, you're in Calcutta.
And so we were praying very, very earnestly. And then we were praying also at Prabhupada's birthplace. And all the devotees...
birthday?
Birthplace.
Birthplace.
Yeah. And they were praying very, 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 very deeply. And I witnessed as the devotees were doing this that a leaf from a tree fell from Prabhupada's tree right at his birthplace. It was a very auspicious sign. And they were going off the prayer, off of your instruction. That we said, Maharaj, we're doing 600 Bhagavatams. And you said, no, you do 1,000 Bhagavatams this year.
Oh.
And we took this instruction very seriously. And we were praying for it. And we were ready to board the plane. And then as soon as we got there, there was a turn of events where Krishna has tricked us. And actually he said, no, there's a war going on. And now you're stuck in India. So what's our next step? Either domestic flight or we go back to Mayapur. But we said, no, we have to make our attempts to go back and continue the preaching mission. So where's the nearest place that we can go back? It's Delhi. And what's nearest to Delhi is Vrindavan. So we spent a few more days in Vrindavan praying that we can distribute more Bhagavatams. And I'd like to inform you, because of your amazing instruction, because of your blessings, because of your amazing association, because of our constant meditation upon your deep love and faith in Srila Prabhupada, with your many classes, especially the one you gave in Mayapur recently, wonderful class about your love for Prabhupada, that as of this week, we are just about 500 Bhagavatams in this Bhagavad campaign.
Hari Bol! Wow.
Hari Bol!
Hari Bol!
Well, I guess
we got another 3 months to go.
You've got another 3 months to go,
That's
and my take is we're going to go over it, but it's only thanks to your encouragement, your support, and your blessings.
No, it's your love and surrender, all of you. You're so dedicated to Prabhupada's will. That's why he's given us Soga Street Temple, Abode Berry Place Temple.
Mm.
We were there yesterday. 2 or 3 of us were there yesterday. So wonderful to go there after so long. Remembering, 55 years ago, this room, that room, so 55 years ago. Hasn't changed, I mean, other than internal, changes. Otherwise, it's still the same. Some things are actually still the same. Some doors are still the same. Some banisters are still the same. Some windows, I think, maybe new glass, but they're still the same as they were. I couldn't get up in the attic. I was trying to get up there, but it was too difficult. I used to work in the attic, a buried place. The garbage room is still exactly the same. Same place, same things going on. The metal spiral staircase, still the same. The knob looks the same on the door. Design around the door, the Earhart sign at the top, 1884, whatever it is, Earhart, still the same. I hope Mr. French is not living next door, that's all I got to say. You don't know Mr. French. What a name he was called. His name was actually Mr. French. He was our #1 enemy in London. He lived right next door to us. And he spent his whole time campaigning to get us out of there. That was his full-time job, practically. His name was Mr. French. Say no more. Kind of succeeded eventually. I don't know what happened to him. But now... Huh?
There was one Mr. Seville also.
Mr. Seville. Saville. Seville? Seville?
Seville.
I don't know. Don't know. Didn't meet him. Don't know. Never heard of him. No, Mr. French was the one we were dealing with. Or David, management was. I wasn't. Yeah. What to do? Hare Krishna. So this is, this is going to be a great Krishna time, but I mean, very place. I think it's going to be one of the biggest. It is the biggest, in one sense, is the major tirtha of our Western world. Holy place. Where Prabhupada first, even I don't know very much about exactly what they had in San Francisco at the time or New York, but these were the first Radha Krishna deities installed like this, in the big ones, in ISKCON. So, very significant temple, very dear to Prabhupada. It doesn't matter what the temple is consciousness, but still, it holds it. And even now, we're talking to the man, the dentist here, Mr. Barrett. We were having a great time with Mr. Barrett. We were talking, and really favourable. Goes to the manor. He's the main person still there. Very nice man. And so he's got a dental clinic now. So I said, Prabhupada established this as a transcendental place. Now you have a dental place. So we're hoping that for benefit of all of us, this will again be a transcendental abode here. He laughed. So, see, Krishna's will, we try our best, but everything depends on him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. So, no, we're just what we are, and just allow the amazing to flow. That's all you have to do. You just have to try to not get in the way of the mercy of the Lord. A lot of maya, a lot of illusions, a lot of attachments, a lot of whatever else you want. But what to do? They're all Krishna's energies. Let go of them. Let go.